At 75 years old, Grandpa is a former lawyer used to managing his own home. But that changed when he moved into what he calls a pokey city flat to live with his daughter, Vidya. Suddenly, his lifelong independence has been replaced by a strictly scheduled routine. Vidya's care is overprotective. She speaks to her father in an overloud tone, using the kind of exaggerated voice usually reserved for a child who doesn't understand simple instructions. This vocabulary table lists terms like frail and pottering, labels that define Vidya's view of her father. She even suggests an invention called vitamin M, a memory pill she thinks every old person needs to fix their supposed cognitive decline. Vidya has outright forbidden Grandpa from leaving the apartment alone. By casting him in this helpless role, she's essentially limited his world to the four walls of their crowded flat. It's a common dynamic where well-meaning care can inadvertently strip a person of their dignity. By trying to protect him from the city, Vidya has taken away his right to manage his own life. Grandpa isn't actually slowing down. His mind remains incredibly sharp, often spending his afternoons analyzing grandmaster-level chess matches with his grandson, Ravi. He can recall the specific opening moves Anatoly Karpov made against a computer, or point out the exact errors that Bobby Fischer made decades ago. He holds thousands of complex logical sequences in his head with perfect clarity. The moment Vidya leaves for work, Grandpa decides to reclaim his morning. He tells Ravi he's going downstairs to check for a Tamil newspaper and walks out the front door, leaving the prisoner life behind. Ravi is terrified his mother will find out. Instead of dragging his grandfather back and hurting his pride, Ravi decides to follow him in secret, acting as a detective to make sure he comes to no harm. Ravi thinks he's the one in charge of the situation, but while he plays at being a protector, his grandfather is simply going for a walk. The afternoon follows two very different paths. Grandpa goes for a steady stroll through the bustling city, while Ravi maintains a frantic start-and-stop pursuit. Grandpa takes the opportunity to indulge in everything forbidden at home. He sips a sugary tea, eats 2 bananas, and buys an ice cream, fully enjoying his own agency. Ravi's journey is a series of humiliations. While hiding behind a bench in the park, he gets into a confrontation with an angry mother and is forced to crawl away on all fours to avoid being spotted. At the tea stall, Ravi tries to hide behind a banyan tree, only to be scolded by vendors who think he's trying to sell items without a permit. The supposed guardian is the one being constantly corrected by the adults around him. The pursuit hits a low point when Grandpa crosses the street. Ravi ducks into a shop to hide, only to be evicted by screaming women. He's accidentally burst into a ladies' hairdressing salon. While the grandfather navigates the city with ease, the grandson is the one constantly penalized and overwhelmed by the environment. Ravi eventually loses Grandpa in the crowd and rushes home in a panic, only to find him safely snoring in his bedroom. Later that evening, the family gathers for a birthday celebration. It's Grandpa's birthday, but he is the one handing out gifts to Vidya and her husband. He still considers them his babies, naturally reclaiming his role as the head of the family. Vidya has completely forgotten it's her father's birthday. The woman obsessed with memory vitamins failed to check her own red-circled calendar. Grandpa points this out with a sharp retort, suggesting that Vidya is the one who needs a dose of vitamin M for her memory. This makes it clear that memory lapses aren't a sign of aging. They're just a part of being human. Grandpa has one final gift for Ravi, a detective storybook. He knew he was being followed all day, and he's acknowledging Ravi's clumsy effort with a bit of humor. This graphic organizer lists the common challenges of aging, but this story highlights a different problem, the perception of those providing the care. Respecting the elderly means looking past the urge to smother them with overprotective bias. It involves trusting their sharp minds and their ability to navigate the world, and the occasional sugary tea, on their own terms.